Time now for our African champion.
African champions. African champions.
Melene Rossouw from South Africa is our African champion. Melene Rossouw is a lawyer in South Africa, and she is fighting for gender equality through democratic power and advocacy. Rather than advocating the government to change laws or create new ones, this is something that she did that I think is very, very impressive, Rather than advocating the government to, change your laws or, more of like tighten or make your laws rigid, change this, do that and everything. This is what she did. She is teaching women and girls to advocate for constitutional rights that they already have. So you don't need, as a matter of fact, you go into the book that contains all the laws that governs the country, you'd realize you find amazing laws, especially when they interpret them to you. You're like, this is exactly what needs to be implemented. That's the thing, implementation. It's so flexible. People are not really doing what the book says. But the thing is, the irony here is, the books, or whatever that is written in there, was written, or was kind of like a composition of ideas from the man himself. You get me? The board, the committee that they set up to put up everything there. But at the end of the day, this man is not going by what he wrote. So it's like you're lying to yourself, So yeah, Melene grew up in Cape Flats of South Africa. Now her home was a shack behind someone else's house, where she saw the effects of poverty daily. Now, the women in her family struggled to survive, which Melene now views as the inspiration that drives her fight for equality. I mean, something would definitely trigger you, in as much as sometimes you just make something out of nothing. And the thing here, the thing with everything is, there's always a reason why something is done. You'd have a reason. It might not be a good enough reason, but trust me, there's always going to be something that triggers why you're doing this, why you're inventing this, or why you decide to embark upon this journey. Now, Melene's mother was also an activist. She worked to protect the women and children in their neighborhood from abuse. Like her mother, Melene became a fighter for women's rights though she takes a different approach to that fight. Now, in 2009, Melene became an attorney in the High Court of South Africa, later working for South Africa's president as Cabinet Committee Secretary for Justice and Crime Prevention. Now, though she had the opportunity to continue climbing in the South African government, she instead turned her focus to advocacy. The thing in high government position is that sometimes you turn into something else. Yeah. Let me borrow, what's his name again? The guy from Nigeria, what's his name? Odogu's words, metamorphose, She can't, no matter how it is, when you get into that space of politics, of government, being having a politician as your boss and everything, you're kind of like, in a way, tempted to just go by his will or whatever it is that he actually put on your paper, on your desk and everything. But she moved away from there and concentrated on doing things that has no political, alignments to it. And I think that's absolutely amazing. Now she's empowering women and girls to fight for the rights promised under South Africa's constitution. Because I believe the constitution has, elements of issues of apartheid, racism, segregation in there, and especially the role that women played, which is actually the backbone or the genesis of this whole month of women in South Africa. So clearly, it's kind of like it's clearly written there that women, you have A, B, C, D, and you have the power to A, B, C, D. You get me? So yeah. Melene also founded the Women Lead Movement, WLM, in 2017 to put the power of change in the hands of women and girls. The non-profit aims to address the disconnect between the promises of South Africa's constitution and the reality lived by girls and women. Transformation, human rights, social justice, equality and empowerment are the values that underlie all the work done by WLM, and explains Melene. Now, WLM actually runs programs and workshops across South Africa to increase education on human rights and democracy. Now, they empower women to create community forums and increase their participation in their local governments and communities. Now, the women, women lead movement is also provides leadership training, teaches about democratic processes, promotes women's visibility in leadership, and helps develop action plans to community change. For me, that's like the work for me, because we all know that, majority of positions and leadership talk about both in government spaces or private spaces, occupied by the male figures and everything. But this is the situation where we really want to get the voice of the woman head. And how issues of human rights, women being violated, violence against women. It's kind of like one of those things rampant in South Africa. And this particular thing, for me, is the top notch. It has a lot of focus in there, and it's really, really good, since something is actually more of like the face is dominating your society. So you need something to actually fight it, But great one. Thank you, Melene Rossouw, for this great job you're doing. And that's why we're still celebrating women in South Africa, and that's what we're going to be doing in our discussion zone as well. So join us right after this one. But believe me, Melene Rossouw,
you are an African champion.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe, and share.